everybody, it's Viviana from Bella Fae, and today I'm going to be working on this project, and I do apologize because the first half of this tutorial got erased by mistake. I apologize. So I'll be showing you everything that I did and everything that I used. I'll be telling you everything I did and showing you everything that I used. The first thing I did was I took the outside of the frame and I painted it with Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle. Once that was done, I went ahead and used my heat gun and dried that paint really well. Then I used my FolkArt crackle and I gave it one coat all around the outside of the frame as well and put that outside to air dry. Make sure that was completely air dry. And then I came in with my FolkArt farmhouse white and I gave the whole outside of it one coat of that paint, dried it with my heat gun, and as it was drying, the crackle starts to show up. So the next thing that I did was I printed out that print from Pinterest and I go ahead and attach it with Mod Podge to the frame. But then what I noticed is it's too small for the frame itself. So I go ahead and I blend in a couple of colors. I take yellow by FolkArt, black, also by FolkArt, a Bowie blue that I got on Etsy, and my Waverly Truffle chalk paint. I put all of them on this little dish, a little bit of each, and then I start dabbing my brush into each color and blending around the print that's already on there. And although it's not perfect, it doesn't look as bad. So the next thing I do once my frame is done, I take my molds. This one I got from Temu. It comes with a dress form, a mirror, perfume, and a pair of shoes. I went ahead and painted my dress green, purple, and put a little bit of gold acrylic. And then I go ahead and do the same thing with the perfume and the mirror, put a little bit of gold acrylic on there. I then take my shoes and I paint them green and also put a little bit of gold on the bows of the shoes. The next thing I did was I took another mold, and this is just a decorative piece that I'm going to be putting in the front of the frame. I paint that whole piece gold as well using my acrylic gold paint and let that dry completely. I'm also going to be using this two stencils that I got. I got these on Etsy. One is a chandelier and the other one is a vine that I also got from Stamperia. I got the vines from Stamperia. So once they're on there, I take a little bit of my gold acrylic paint and I put some on the chandelier just to make it pop. I put these on there with chalk paste in the color Vintage Lace. Once that was done, I took this napkin I got on Temu and I wanted to tear out some of the flowers with my water brush, and I put them in the corner of the frame. I put a Jenga block on the back of my dress because I did want the dress to have a 3D effect on the frame itself. The next thing I did was I got these charms from Temu and I made like a little charm half bracelet just to put on the top of this is going to go on top of the frame right above my dress. I then cut out this lady, the top of her, and I'm going to be putting her in the middle of my decorative mold. And I take a little envelope that I made, and I'll show you what I use for that as well. That's also going to be going. These papers I got from Temu and a whole bunch of little papers, and I cut the envelope from one of those using my pinking shears. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to put everything away because I'm going to start getting ready to put those charms on the top of the frame. I have to turn it because I'm left-handed and everything has to be turned sideways for me. I'm just showing you the chain that I got, the roller chain that I got from Temu. I'm also going to be using these little corner pieces. I'm going to be cutting out that little middle round teardrop in the middle because I'm going to be using that to cover where I put the hot glue to put the charms on there. So the first thing I do is that I make sure that my chain is even on both sides. And as I put it on there, I see that it's not even. So I go ahead and I snip off a little piece of the chain on one side just to make it even. I put it on there one more time. And once that I am happy with the way it looks, that it's not too long because I don't want it to be covered by the dress form when I put it on there. Once I'm happy with the length of the charms, I go ahead and I take my hot glue gun and I put a dot of hot glue on either side of the chain to keep it in place. And then on top of that glue, I'm going to be attaching those little teardrop shapes that I cut out from that corner piece. Those are corner pieces that I buy on Temu, and they go in the corner of the frames. And I wanted to hide where I put the glue, so I just cut out those little teardrop shapes that are in the middle of those corner pieces. I'll show you guys so that you can understand what I did. It's hard to explain. So there I am. I'm taking my hot glue gun and I'm just dabbing a little, putting a little dab of hot glue on either side of the chain to keep it in place. Then I take my little teardrop shapes that I cut out and I put them right on top of that glue. I'm just getting rid of those little spider veins from the hot glue gun. Making sure that that's on there good. And then I take another one and put it on the other side of the chain to hide the top of the chain and the glue that I put on there. Then I just take this little tool that I use all the time just to get rid of those little spider veins that I can't reach with my fingers. And that's what it's looking like. It's got a flower, a brush, it's got a little locket, and it's got a little clock on there. And I think that'll just add another dimension to the frame. I'm just making sure that my dress is not going to cover, and it doesn't. It doesn't cover the chains, the charms. I'm sorry, not the chains, the charms. And then I take that decorative piece that I colored in gold acrylic paint, and I'm going to attach it to the bottom of the frame. And I like it the other way around. So I go ahead and I put my lady on there to make sure that she's going to look good in the middle. I take my Tite Bond Thick and Quick all-purpose wood glue, and I take a brush and I'm going to take that decorative piece and I'm going to spread the glue all around that piece. I'm going to put some glue all around the mold. And then I take my, I'm sorry, I can't talk. And then I take my brush and I spread that glue evenly on there. I don't want any globs of glue on that mold. Then I take another little brush and I take a piece of I put my mold on there. Make sure that it's good on there. And then what I do is that I take a little piece of wet wipey and a little thin brush, and I go ahead and start wiping off the excess glue that is around the mold. Whatever glue seeps out of the mold when I put it on there. And I just clean off those edges. I just don't want any globs of that glue on there. Although this glue does dry clear, I still always go ahead and clean the edges off. Guys, when I speed up a video, oh my God, I can't talk. When I speed up a video, it's so hard for me to talk and keep pace with the speed of the video. So you have to just give me some grace there, please. I go ahead and wrap my brushes around my wet wipey, because I don't want my brushes to get dry and get ruined. So I just keep them wrapped up in that. I then go ahead and take that lady with the hat, the top part of her, and I go ahead and attach her with Mod Podge. I spread a thin, even layer on the back of her, and I go ahead and attach her to the middle of my decorative mold. And by the way, the print I attached to the back of the frame using Mod Podge also. I put an even layer on the whole back of that print, and I attach it to the frame using my Mod Podge. I then go ahead and the same thing I'm doing now. I went ahead and I dried the whole thing, and that seals the Mod Podge with the frame and the print. I made sure that it was completely dry, and then I went ahead and took Mod Podge again, and I sealed that whole large print on my frame. A nice, even, thin layer over the whole print. And then I went ahead and dried it with my heat gun. It's the same thing I'm doing right now. I take another bit of Mod Podge and I apply an even thin layer to the top of my little lady. And then I go ahead and dry it. And that seals her to the rest of the print as well. I go ahead and dry her, make sure that there's no wrinkles or bubbles underneath her. Just making sure that she's completely dry. Okay, so the next thing, that's what it's looking like so far. There's the charms and all the other things that I put on there so far. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach my dress form. And the way I do that is I use my Tite Bond Quick and Thick all-purpose wood glue. And I'm also going to be attaching the perfume and the mirror and my shoes on there. So what I do is that once I'm happy with the way that I'm thinking, things are going to go on there, I take my dress form, I use my Tite Bond, and I put a circle around that Jenga block of the Tite Bond glue. And then in the middle, I take my heat gun and I put some hot glue on there just to keep the dress form in place while my Tite Bond goes ahead and dries. Just tap it down gently and make sure that it's positioned correctly on the frame, right above my charms. I then go ahead and do the same thing with the mirror. The mirror is going to go beside the dress. I go ahead and spread that glue with my brush. Place it on the frame. And then the perfume bottle, I'm going to be putting that on the bottom corner of the frame, and I'll be putting that on there. And that's at an angle. I put it at an angle. I go ahead and clean off the edges. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my shoes on. And I wanted to put the shoes above the perfume bottle, but it was just too much on there. So I end up putting the shoes on the other side on the bottom corner of my frame. And it looked better to me on that side. So I take my Tite Bond and I go ahead and attach my shoes. I love the way this is coming out so far. It looks really, really pretty. And something fun to do besides Christmas in July. I wanted to just do something different. I'm not ready for Christmas. Stop. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my acrylic paint and put a little dot on the cover of the envelope, a little dot on a little dot on the bottom. I'll show you guys. There it goes. Just put a little dot there, and then I'll be attaching that envelope on the other side of the charms in the corner of the frame. I'm just going to use regular glue to go ahead and attach it on there. Excuse me. I brush it on there. And I go ahead and attach it catty corner on the other side of my frame. And there it goes. There it goes. That's my completed project. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching this tutorial. And I'll be seeing you guys for my next tutorial. Thank you guys, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.